you're coming to the Liverpool Football Club. We wouldn't dare now and say to you, you're going to get this, you're going to be able to play in the first team match. They never ever. They said, you're coming to the Liverpool Football Club, of which there's a lot of great talent in there. But what we will give you, give you the best opportunity to better yourself, to better your talent, to improve and become a better player and a better person. And that was enough for me and my parents. And so thankfully, I made the right decision to go to Liverpool on the back of a very, very honest conversation, as I say, with Tom Saunders, with John Bennison and Bob Paisley.
A lot of people in your former, well, a lot of your former teammates joke a lot about your height. What sort of benefit?
Only about my height.
Not only one of the things they joke about. They joke about a lot of things. So all of you guys have an amazing banter between you, and you need to tell us about when you ended up in that overhead locker in an airport in an airplane. But what was your advantage with your height that could generate positivity to your game?
Well, to be honest, I never, first and foremost, I never seen it. There's no negativity towards it. I never seen it as that. If anything, it was an inspiration to me, to be honest, because I knew that I had to work harder and I had to fight harder because, you know, at the end of the day, there's a saying that a good big one is better than a good little. Now, I've disagreed with that all my life. You know, at the end of it, it's about ability, about temperament, it's about ethics, about work ethic. You know, and so a lot of it is about mentality. So I never ever seen it as a weakness. And to me, it was just something that I knew that to get into this Liverpool team, it was never brought up to me. They just said, if you can produce your best, if you're good enough, you're going to get a chance. And it was, and believe it or not, it was never mentioned. It really wasn't, honestly. My weight was, but my height wasn't. You know, so it was never something that bothered me at all. I mean,
but it's such an inspiration for kids who maybe struggle with their height and maybe they get told, oh, you need to grow more if you're going to make it as a footballer. Just look towards Sammy Lee and see that height doesn't matter.
Well, I look towards Messi, Rodney. I look towards Messi. You know, Kenny Dalglish wasn't the biggest. You know, at the end of the day, you look at Maradona. I'm not putting myself in the same frame as Messi or Maradona. Please don't think I'm not doing that at all. So don't think I'm doing that. But I'm saying to you, height is it's just something that never occurred to me. Never. Obviously, you're not going to put me on there centre forward at corners. We know that. So they put me on the post, so it's not an issue. You know, it was never an issue for me, Ragnar, honestly, it really wasn't. But please, I repeat, don't think I'm comparing myself with Messi or Maradona. I don't want anybody to think that at all. Please don't misinterpret that.
You're so humble. I love it. There is a question here from Robert Quinn. He says, hey, Sammy, what was it like when you first entered the boot room?
Well, I entered the boot room and a number of guys, one as a young apprentice going in at the end of the game, he was asking for permission to do this. Second was as a player going in there, as you go past, you sometimes get called in. But to go in as a coach, all them years after, to be invited in as a coach, to be invited into that scenario, that it was for me after playing, that was exactly where I wanted to be. That was my classroom after playing. You know, to be able to go and sit alongside people like, as I said to you before, on many occasions, Joe Fagan, Ronnie Moran, Bob Paisley, Tom Saunders, Roy Evans, and to go in that kind of format, and with Graham initially brought me in, and to then mix with other managers, and when you got asked to go in there, there was a certain, then you were accepted, and for me to be able to be sitting there and listen, not talk, listen to what the banter, what was going on, and not just the banter, it was the knowledgeable football talk. For me, it was like being in the classroom and doing my exams and doing all my studies, and it was excellent for me. And it's something that will live in my memory for forever. It really will. And sometimes you find it difficult to I don't know, to put into words, you know, but for me, it was just something that it was the pinnacle of my coaching career to be able to go into that and sit on them wicket baskets and listen to it. As I said to you, it's a little bit difficult for me to articulate, and I'm not doing a very good job with it, but it's just something that after playing, it's just, well, that's where you wanted to be, and that's where you should be. And I felt it I'd arrived at.
You worked with so many great managers. I mean, you played under the great Bob Paisley, but you work with, as you mentioned, Souness. You've worked with Evans, Houllier, Rafa Benitez brought you back in. Who is the manager you've learned the most from?
Well, again, forgive me if I answer this in a very cliched way. I mean, but to be honest, I think if you don't take something from every manager, then you've made a mistake. And I've been very fortunate to, you know, with the gracious, you didn't mention Roy Hodgson there, who came in at a difficult time with Liverpool Football Club. But I've tried to take things from every manager. I really have. And I think if I was to tell you anything different, then I'd be doing a disservice both to the people I work with and to myself, really, because everybody has strengths. Yes, everybody has weaknesses. But if you become a manager, coach at Liverpool Football Club, you know, you've got a lot of ability and you've got something. And for me, that was something. Knowing that, I wanted to glean something from whichever person was in charge, whichever person was on the coaching staff at the time. Every single one, I take something from. And I know that does sound rather cliche. So I'll make no apologies for that. But I couldn't give you one or two or other. I tried to take something from everybody I worked with, because for me, I repeat, if you get to the status or the status of working as a top man, a manager of Liverpool Football Club, you must be very good. You must be very good. And I decided very early in my coaching career that I was going to listen to people in whichever position you were in that group room, whichever the hierarchy was, I was going to listen to them all.
How did you feel when Souness approached you and asked you after your playing career if you wanted to come back to Liverpool?
It was a dream come true for me. It obviously the sadness of it that somebody had to lose the position, and unfortunately that was Phil Thompson. And Phil Thompson and me are very, very close. So that was a little bit difficult, I have to say. But him and his family have been fantastic towards me. And I know how much the position it meant to Phil and means to Phil. But he didn't hold that against me in any way, shape or form. And I have to say to you, I hold him in the highest esteem for that. Both him and his family, his wife and all his family, I really do. But to answer your question, it was a dream come true, because after playing, you know, I wanted to be a coach. I started trying to get involved in coaching Jordan that because I had a few injuries. And to be invited back to Liverpool as a coach was, well, after playing for Liverpool was the next best thing.
There's a great question here from Stephen Morgan. He's saying, Sammy, in your opinion, when you coached with Liverpool, who was the best player you've personally seen breaking through the ranks?
I think the obvious comes through, you know, because obviously we had a few. We were very fortunate. You know, we had Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen coming through. But I don't think I have to say to you, for me, it would have to be, and I can't split them, to be honest, but for two very different reasons. Jamie Carragher and Stevie Gerrard, I've got to be honest, I mean, both different, but both unique, if that doesn't sound contradictory. Both terribly driven youngsters, you know, again, local lads want to come through. And I can't split them. Robbie Fowler was the most naturally gifted striker I've ever seen. Michael was a very, very driven lad who came through, worked very hard to make sure he maximised his talent. But Carragher and Gerrard, for me, I can't split them, and I wouldn't want to. And they're both very, very different. They're both doing very, very well in their chosen careers after playing. You know, Stevie obviously doing very, very well in management at Rangers. Jamie, alongside Gary Neville and Graham, possibly the best pundits on television. And to see them two come through, and both very, very driven individuals, very driven, but both family based. I have to say to you, to see them, it was a joy. It was a joy to see them come through. And I suppose there'd be a factor to locals, as was Robbie, Michael as well. You know, he lived down the road, Michael, but he was local. But I think to see them come through and to see what they're doing now after their playing career, it speaks volumes for what they did as players and as people.
Do you think Steven Gerrard will manage Liverpool at some point? Because you know everything what's going on behind the scenes in the manager world.
I don't actually either. I mean, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and certainly since the elephant in the room, joining Everton, I'm certainly not privy to what goes on at Liverpool anymore. But I think what Stevie's doing, I think he's plying his trade, he's learning his trade. I think he's doing excellently well at Glasgow Rangers. It's a fantastic football club in a great league, in a great city up there, and I think he chose a very difficult place to go and to perfect his talents. And I'd have to say to you, it looks as if it's on the cards, but it wouldn't be for me to say who's going to be the Liverpool manager in the future. All I'll say to you, he's going about it the right way. He's studying, he's perfecting his talent, and I think for me, I'd have no issue if I was a Liverpool supporter, which I am. I'd have no issue in putting my trust and faith and my football club in Stevie Gerrard's tenure, whenever that may be. But I will put a caveat to that. I'm hoping it's going to be not for some time yet, because the guy who's in charge now, I repeat what I said before, is doing a fantastic job. And I think we should all pay homage to him, take our hats off to him, because I think he's brought Liverpool back into the situation, into a place now where everybody wants to be a Liverpool supporter, everybody wants to be a Liverpool player, and everybody loves the Liverpool Football Club.
There's a question here from Chris Burleson saying, Sammy, in your opinion, as a player or a coach, what was the greatest ever Liverpool performance?
That's a very difficult one, to be honest with you. Very difficult. There's been many.
There's a top three then, like.
Yeah, well, there's been many. I think Liverpool going to Real Madrid and beating 1-0 in Bernabeu was very, very good. My debut was very good. I don't think so, no. But I think Liverpool then going to Roma and winning in their stadium. But I don't think you can, go too far away from 3-0 down against AC Milan. And I think there's been many, many fantastic performances. And I know I'll get castigated for putting one, but I don't think you can go too far away from 2005 when 3-0 down at half time to come out and win that Champions League. I think for me it's something that they'll make a film about, and if they don't, they should do. And so I'll throw that out to some people out there, some of the more creative people. I think they should do. I think there'll be many stories coming from that. I know there's been a bit of a play, not a bit of a play, but there's been a very good play come out about it. Which I had the good fortune to go and see. But I think that through it all, and it'd be easy to say one when I played, but thankfully you gave me three. But I think the Milan one in Istanbul has to come out on top, I think. And I see that great gladness, by the way.
But what about exactly a year ago when we had the return leg against Barcelona and we had to win 4-0 and we couldn't let in a goal and we did it and went on to win in Madrid? Is that up there?
Without a doubt. But I mean, you only gave me three, Ragnar. I want to have two that I was involved in, but no, without a doubt. That's what I'm saying to you. Look, people will always be able to give me one, and they'll always have different ones to me. But I have to say to you, I think that when you get to a final, and again, I suppose you're right. And I was going to say to you, the Istanbul one, it wasn't at Anfield, but the amount of Liverpool supporters that were in Istanbul, it was practically an home game. So you may be right, but I don't think you can go too far away from the fact that it was a final. A lot of things come into being in an actual final, and you're 3-0 down, and you know that people will leave the stadium because they thought it was all over. I just tend to think that, for me, and actually 45 minutes, don't forget that it was. I actually, go back to the Barcelona one, I make this may sound crass, but I actually gave us a chance in that game. And if you speak to the people who know me, and you may or may not do, it may be in a euphoric state, it may be in a drunken state, but I actually gave us a chance because of, when you go to Anfield on any given European night, where you talk about, you think about Saint Etienne, Davy Fairclough. Anfield on a European night is unique to anywhere in the world. So there was always a chance of that. There was always a chance. And I think I think they were a little bit blasé about it. I think they also already thought they'd won the game, boss. As much as respect I've got for them, when you phoned up on the first leg, and it could have been more if I'm not mistaken, because they had a chance at the very end. I think the keeper made a great save in the first leg, and I think that there was always a chance. And I think people went to Anfield that night and we thought of a chance. But when you're in Istanbul 3-0 down against AC Milan, I'm not too sure many people would have given much hope in that. And I'll never forget, because I was in Chicago with the national team at the time, and again 3-0 down, half time. You know, the national team, the squad thought it was over. I just thought it was this Liverpool. You'll never walk alone at half time the way it was sang. It's never over. It's never over.
It's just beautiful. I have a question here from Jamie Mulholland. He says, Sammy, a year ago we beat Barca, then went on to win the 6th. I'm sure we all had hangovers the day after. My question is, when was your best party from winning a trophy with the Mighty Reds?
Every time we won a trophy, which is quite regular, to be honest. I couldn't pick one out again because it undermined the others. But one thing we do, and now we knew how to party, and we knew how to enjoy ourselves, and we knew how much it meant to the people. And quite often than not, when we had them after match parties, after winning the trophy, the supporters got in as well, because it was as much for them as it was for us. So to be honest, yeah, every single time we had success, we enjoyed it, and we made sure everybody else enjoyed it, as I'm sure they do now. In fact, I know they do
now. Talking about big trophies, there's one here from Ragibir Sahota. If I've pronounced it wrongly, then please excuse me. During your coaching time, no, sorry. This was the one I wanted to ask you first. Chris Whitehead is saying, which European Cup win gave most satisfaction? Beating Real Madrid in 81 or Roma on their own patch in 84?
Again, as I said to you before, it's very difficult to differentiate because it undermines what you did before. And I'd have to say to you, for me, I find it very difficult to pinpoint one. All I will say to you that the Roma were once again, we weren't given much of a chance. You know, but having said that, we weren't given much of a chance against Bayern Munich in the semi-final. I think they thought of the 81, they thought that they were going to be going to Paris to play Madrid. But as I said before, I mean, for me, I just love and enjoy every success, and I find it difficult to actually pinpoint one, because as I said before, it actually undermines maybe the one that went before, the one that went after. But Liverpool Football Club was built on success, and I have to say to you, for me, every success is up there with the best thing I've ever done in my life. You know, and it'd be wrong for me to just pick one out. They all have their own importances. They all have their own identity for me, and each one has their own importance and their own spectacular part of my life. So I'd rather not, if he doesn't mind me sitting on the fence, pick one rather than the other. I think I'd be telling them lies if I pick one.
I have to say hello to George Sefton, the voice of Anfield. He's watching us here, and he's saying,
oh, wow,
I remember
George,
Sammy in the reserves in the 70s. I've changed, but he hasn't.
Well, as I said to you before, thank you very much, George. As I said before, I've always been short and heavy, you know what I mean? So maybe you're just confirming that fact. One thing that hasn't changed, George, is your voice. You are the voice of Anfield, and again, your passion for Liverpool Football Club. And I know that'll never wither, it'll never lessen, and long may it continue. But thanks, George, for pointing out that I was a short little fat boy, many back in the 70s as well. I did allude to that earlier on in the conversation, George. So thank you for confirming that.
Your debut for the Reds was a very special match for you. You mentioned it just briefly earlier. Can you describe that feeling as a local lad to finally walk in on the turf at Anfield and have your debut with the first team?
Again, I think I spoke to you once before when thankfully you invited me along to the hotel, which was the first time I'd ever been there, and I was overwhelmed by it. But I remember you asking me the same question, and it's difficult because the whole thing was a blur for me. My debut was a blur, something that I'd wanted to do from whenever I could remember putting a pair of football boots on or a football kit on. It's something that I always wanted to do, play for Liverpool at Anfield and to score in front of the Kop. And to do it, I have to say to you, it's a blur. Sadly, it is a blur. And it's something that I haven't revisited that many times, to be honest with you. But all I will say to you, without that game, without that being, having such an importance on my life, we wouldn't be talking now. So again, there may be other questions, like which was the most important game of your life and what have you. And forgive me if I'm cutting across you there, but that was the most important for me, because without that going so well, then we wouldn't be talking here today. But I honestly, I repeat, a lot of it was a blur, sadly.
But isn't that interesting, though, how so many players who went on to have a great career with Liverpool and stayed for a long time and became one of the most important players, like yourself, had a really, really, really strong debut? Does that sort of set the pace for your success in Liverpool almost?
Well, I think because the standards are so high, they were and are so high. If you don't do well on your debut, if you bomb on your debut, back in the day, and I think it's the same now, you don't get very many second chances, and particularly in front of the Kop. And so, to be perfectly frank with you, that's why it has such an importance for me, because if it hadn't have gone as well as what I would hoped, if it hadn't have gone as well as I'd been prepared for by the fantastic coaching staff that I had at that time, if it hadn't gone that well, then I wouldn't have got the second game, I wouldn't have got the third game, and I repeat, we wouldn't be talking here today. So for me, it was massively important that I made an impression. It wasn't always massively important that I scored a goal, because goal scoring, if you look at my record, it's not even on there, I don't think. But to actually score on my debut in front of the Kop, that was just the old, as they say, icing on the cake. Well, for me, it was important that I made an impression on everybody on that day. And if you don't, because of the quality that Liverpool and the high standards that Liverpool demand of you, Liverpool Football Club and the city demand of you, then I don't think I'd have got a second chance.
There's a question here from Brian Sweeney. Hello, Brian. He says, ask Sammy, does he remember Ronnie Whelan's testimonial? All the Liverpool players stayed in the same hotel as me. Sammy and Terry McDermott stayed up with us singing, and Sammy loved singing Green Fields of France.
Yeah, well, it's one of them, because the Furies and Davy Arthur, you're massive for us at the time. And as I said to you before, for me, the football club is not only about the players, it's about the supporters as well. And what we always did, and again, I've seen the bus rides of Jürgen's team that go around the city now when they win things. I think for me, it's about involving the public and the fans. And one thing that I always wanted to do, I always wanted to include the fans, because I am a fan, I was a fan, I was brought up a fan. So I think it wasn't only for me, it was for the fans as well. And I thought any chance that I could get to include them in the celebrations, in the aftermatch parties, I did my utmost to try and get them in, because as I said to you before, for me, it's not only about the play. We're the lucky ones, we're able to go on the pitch. But I see supporters spend all their hard-earned money to travel the globe to support the Liverpool Football Club. And any chance I had to give them the opportunity to join in the celebrations, I tried to do my utmost to do. I wasn't alone in that, by the way. Terry Mack, Phil Thompson's, the coaching staff always wanted to embrace the supporters and bring them in, because they had a realization is that it wasn't just about us, it was about the city and about the supporters. And I go back to what I said before. This is exactly what Jürgen does. He gets the team, he gets the city, he gets the public, he gets the football club in its entirety.
And within your team and in your days, there was a lot more banter, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. Can you tell us one or two of the stories about all the crazy things that went on to ground you guys and to sort of team up and work together as a team?
In a word, Randy? No.
Come on.
What goes on in that dressing room stays in that dressing room. What I will say to you is that I'm sure the banter's going on now, you know, because you don't get the success this team, you don't get the camaraderie this team have got without having some sort of gel. Now, whether that be Jordan, Millie, whether that be Mo Salah, whether that be Sadio Mane, who I had the great fortune to work with at Southampton alongside Virgil, whether it's that, one thing to me, I know for sure, is that the manager and the coaching staff and the kit men all try to engender camaraderie, and that just doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen in the click of a finger. That's something that you build up. That's something that you engender in the football team, and I think there's loads of stories, but this doesn't go on just one given day. This happens throughout the football club on any given day. And again, I repeat, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for what Jaeger and his backup staff are doing to engender the camaraderie. Because I think I said it before. This football club, this team they've got now, there are a load of stars. They're full of stars, but nobody behaves like a star. Nobody behaves like a prima donna until they get on the pitch, and their behaviour of stars comes out in their football. It manifests itself in what they do on the football pitch. And I think it's fantastic to see in this day and age where celebrity, you know, you can have the best watch or the best car and you be a celebrity. These guys are doing the best in a very difficult scenario, if you like. You know what I mean? Very difficult for them because there's so many distractions going on. But these lads, there's so many stars. But the stardom comes in being a team and being united and being playing as a team. And I think my ass off them. I think it's something to behold and to enjoy.
Talking about Virgil van Dijk, a lad called Terje Johannes Haddal, hello there. He is asking you, which is your preferred partner to Virgil?
It wouldn't be me. That's for sure. Again, Ragney, forgive me. You know, it's not for me to do that, to pick a Jaeger team. I think you've got a number of supremely talented boys in there. Whoever's gone in have done well alongside them. You know, I know people will dispute that, and you know, but at the end of the day, it'd be wrong for me to pick who partners Virgil van Dijk, because at the end of the day, it's not my position. All I will say is that whoever plays alongside him will become a better player, because Virgil is one of the players who exudes confidence. He passes on his knowledge. He passes on his passion. And I have to say to you, for me, he's someone that when you play alongside him, you will become a better player.
We have to talk about that elephant we mentioned in the beginning.
Can I have a drink?
You need a drink before that one. But before we do that, I just want to remind everyone why we do these live streams. First and foremost, it is to gather and get together basically all across the world with the Reds to try to enjoy ourselves in a very difficult time. And difficult it is also for us running businesses, and especially in the hospitality and the hotel and the bar industry. Hotel Tia has been closed for many weeks. So right now we have absolutely no income and lots of expenses running. And we are doing these live streams to fundraise, to try to raise the funds to pay all the bills and secure all our local workers and their workplaces. And you came to Hotel Tia for the first time this season, Sammy, and what did you think?
I was blown away by it. Hotel Tia, I mean, for me, I was blown away by it. And to see the memorabilia in there, I thought, wow, and the genuine memorabilia. And it's just seeing the right place for that football club. I'd heard about it on many, many occasions, but to actually go and experience it, I thought, wow. And again, I don't really remember. I'm not too sure whether this caused the closing of Hotel Tia. I gave you one of my England shirts, and since then the place seems to have closed. I hope it wasn't that caused the closing down of Hotel Tia.
Jinx the Premier League.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, I was blown away by it. I have to say to you, and the people that were in there. But again, I did say to me, I'd heard about it before, but to actually experience it, I thought, wow. And to experience the people going in just wanting to go across into Anfield, I thought, what a stepping stone to go into there. And I was blown away by it, but I was lifted by it as well. And I thought, wow. And please make sure everybody make sure that we continue with Hotel Tia, because it's a fantastic little appendix to Anfield. It really is.
Yeah, so we're fundraising for Hotel Tia, but we're also fundraising for the food bank in Liverpool, because they need all the help they can get right now, because so many people are struggling and not even getting enough food these days because they don't get enough support, and so many people have lost their jobs, and it's just horrendous. The crisis is real in England and in many other countries as well. So we are doing what we can with these live streams to donate to the food bank as well. And I have to say, I've been making raffle tickets, because every £10 you donate, you get a raffle ticket like this with your name under. And I will soon be telling you who won the signed Kenny Dalglish shirt and the signed Phil Thompson picture and the Liverpool captain's books. We will reveal that at the end of the show, but we will also be doing a raffle today, and you can win a beautiful signed John Barnes shirt today. And you can also win, look at this one. He doesn't do too many signatures, Kenny Dalglish, signed, beautiful, gorgeous, big picture. And my cat is talking as well. And these pictures are generously donated by Rob O'Brien from Liverpool Private Signings on Facebook. And we will also be raffling out some of Hotel Tia's really cool merch. You can choose your size and whatever you want. Look at this. Isn't that just cool?
Ragni, you remember you gave me the hoodie last time? I have to say to you, my son was absolutely blown away with it. He loved it.
Did he pinch it? Did he pinch it?
No, I gave it to him because me being of an age, I thought it looked better on him than on me, so I hope you didn't mind. It was excellent. He really, really loved it.
Fantastic. We will treat you with a t-shirt instead.
I wasn't fishing for that, by the way.
But you will get a t-shirt instead. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Isn't that what they say? So if you guys want to be in the raffle to win these things tonight, you can donate to paypal.me/hoteltia, or you can send your donation to VIPS, and the number is 600312 600312. And I have personally, look at this. This is from last week's raffle. We will draw this at the end, and I've personally written everyone's names on these raffle tickets, and it's just moving to see so many familiar names and new names and people from all over the world helping out. It is really, 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 really appreciated, and I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of everyone from Hotel Tia. So we will do the raffle in a little bit, but first, dun, 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 I think you need another drink because we're going to talk about Everton.
Okay.
So here is the question from Yaran Pedersen. He says, during a taxi ride in Liverpool a few years ago, I had a blue-nosed taxi driver. He wasn't too happy to have you in the team. He told me you were a LFC guy. How was it being in Everton? He asks. And let me add, why did you choose to take a position in Everton?
Well, I answered this, and if you can just bear with me a couple of seconds to be honest on this. I mean, I've said before, football is my passion, football is my life. And I have to say to you, without football, then to be honest with you, it's difficult for me, as everyone is experiencing now. But to be honest with you, after losing my position at Liverpool, I wanted to continue my life. I wanted to continue my passion. Everybody knows I'm a Liverpool supporter. Everybody knows I've grown up a Liverpool supporter. Everybody knows that I wanted to play for Liverpool. But when that passion was taken away from me, then I wanted to continue it. I wanted to continue my life, so I went to work for Southampton, I was at Bolton, I was at Crystal Palace, I had a brief spell with England, which is fantastic. And I wanted to continue. And when I was given the opportunity by Sam Allardyce to go to Everton, then I have to say to you, I didn't have any doubts whatsoever. I didn't, honestly. I knew the issues, I knew the problems, and I won't go into it. I've had a few issues, you know, even personally and locally, because people, as you say, both sides not wanting me to be there because they think I was a Liverpoolian and what have you. But I wanted to continue my passion. And all I ever said was to judge me on what I do, not what I did. And more than anything, I love this city. I love Liverpool. Wherever I've been, I say to you, whether it be down in Southampton, be down in London, wherever, this city means everything to me. And I think this city needs 2 teams in the Premiership. I think, you know yourself, this city is unique because in any family, on any side of the dining table, you can have red and blue. And I may be totally wrong, but I think that's what makes this scenario unique, this derby scenario unique. And I wanted to be able to continue that. I wanted to be able to maintain that. And don't forget, when Sam went in, Everton were in dire straits. They were very, very close to being relegated. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been brought in. So for me to be part of maintaining the status quo of 2 teams in the Premiership fighting to be the best, to be above each other, it meant a lot to me. And I have to say to you, I was very proud of the job we did. You know, and again, I repeat, everyone knows I'm a Liverpool supporter. Everyone knows I've been brought up with Liverpool and I was a Liverpool player. But my passion is football. And to be able to continue my passion at Everton and to help this city, and again, people will have their own views on it. But believe you me, this is my thoughts on it, is to be able to maintain the status of 2 Premier League teams in the same city. I was so proud of the job we did. I really was, honestly. And I really enjoyed the place. I think it's a fantastic football club. Liverpool and Everton, we know there's great rivalry. There always has been. Thankfully, there always will be. You know, and I think for me to be part of that, you know, and people will disagree with me, and people will have their own reasons why I did it, but that is my reason. And I actually, I'm very, very proud to be able to say to people, do you know what? I've been involved in 2 of the big football clubs in this city, in this league. I really am, honestly.
Do you still get a lot of comments from Scousers on the job that you took with Everton? Is that something that I mentioned to you?
Yeah, it's quite strange. I was a little bit wary of going back to Anfield, as you know, Remy, because of I'd actually had a bit more grief, a bit more stiff from Liverpool supporters, to be honest with you. You know, and listen, I understand the reluctance of both Everton supporters and Liverpool supporters to have someone like me in both clubs. But all I'll say to you is that I'll go back to a phrase I used before. I asked them to judge me on what I do, not what I did. You know, and I think I'm hoping that appreciative of the fact that we did get them from 16th to 8th in the table. I think that's quite an achievement, and I have to say to you, and I'm quite proud of what we did. I really am, honestly.
And it would be really, really boring if we don't have both the clubs in Premier League. I totally agree with you on that one. There's a question here from Kieran Smith. He says, who was your favorite player as a kid?
As a kid, Ian Callaghan, without a doubt. Ian Callaghan, and Callie was my hero. You know, I'm very, very fortunate. I was able to support some great teams, you know, great players, people like Emlyn Hughes, people like Tommy Smith, Ron Yates, Chris Lawler, Jerry Byrne, graduate through them, Willie Stevenson, Sir Roger Hunt, Ian St. John, Ian Callaghan, Peter Thompson. You know, for me, and then Kevin Keegan, John Toshak, Terry McDermott, Phil Thompson, Ray Kennedy. I go through them all, but my overriding favourite footballer, my idol was when I was growing up, was Ian Callaghan.
857 games, wasn't it? The most games ever played in a red shirt. 18 years in the first team, a career of first being a winger and then the second career being a midfielder. It's just unbelievable. And he must be, honestly, the nicest man on the planet.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Full of humility. Never wants to talk about himself. Always wants to talk about other people. And I think for me, he was symptomatic of what made that team great at the time. Again, born out of the fantastic management of, as I say, Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley, and Joe Fagan. They knew what they were doing when they assembled that group of players. And again, I repeat exactly what Jürgen is doing now with his football club. I can see all the similarities, to be perfectly honest with you.
Do you want to get back into management again or coaching?
Of course, yeah. Of course I do, Randy. You know, it's what I do. It's the only thing I know. Some people say I don't know that much about it anyway, but it's what I love. It's what I'd like to do. But it's just whether the opportunity comes along. But as I said at the start of the conversation, I just wanted the time to the more pressing things with the football, you know, which is making sure that everybody stays safe and keep calm, you know, and make sure that we stay sane as well, because there's a lot of mental issues coming from this as well. So I think it's important that we wait for the right time before anybody talks about going back into football. But it will happen. It will happen. And as long as everybody sits around the table, gets the right timing of it, and make sure that we're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, definitely. The UK is really, really heavily affected by the coronavirus, the worst country in Europe right now in terms of deaths, which is just horrendous. And our deepest sympathy and love goes out to everyone who's struggling right now with the virus or have lost a dear one. It's just unreal what's going on. And we do send out all our love and the message, like you, Sammy, stay inside. There's quite a few questions here on the transfer market. First one, going back to your time with Souness. This one is from Sahota, who I was starting to read out earlier. He says, during your coaching time with Graham Souness as a manager, any regrets over players sold too early or missed out on a signing?
Well, to be honest with you, that was, you know, at the end of the day, I was the reserve team coach. I wasn't privy to what was going on. But you'd always have regrets on people you let go too early. You know, but very, very few come back and bite on the backside. But again, the greatest thing I find about football, and you go to any bar, any pub, any restaurant, which we used to be able to do, was that people always have a different view on who the starting 11 should be, who should be in the football team, who should not have been, who should have signed, who should have signed. And I think that's the joy of football. Yeah, of course, there are people who will have gone from the football club who you wish you'd have stayed. But at the end of the day, sadly, that's the nature of the game. It's happened to me. It's happened to other players, you know, and it'll happen again. Excuse me. But as I said to you, that's the joy of football. It's a game of opinions. It keeps every bar, pub, restaurant, every workplace going in conversation. And there's always better managers out there than what are actually in the position, because they've always got the great benefit of hindsight and not actually having to make the decision.
There's also a few questions here who you think Liverpool should sign in this window. There's been some rumours of some players, Werner, and what do you think? Who should we get in?
Well, again, it's difficult for me, Ragnar, because at the end of the day, people keep on throwing names up, but you know, I think every good football club strengthens. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes they're not going to go into this team straight away, because who would replace who with who in this football team? Sometimes you need people to go on the bench to in case of injuries, in case of natural wastage. But again, it's not for me to tell Jürgen who he should pick. He will have his own. I know full well he's got a great analyst team who are working non-stop to identify who could make this squad, not so much the team, squad better. But all I will say to you is that whoever they bring in, they're not going to walk straight into the side, because I'll go from back to front. I'm not too sure who's better in Europe or whatever than the players who are in there at this moment in time. So whoever comes in will only be as backup initially. But again, it'd be wrong of me to try and preach to Jurgen Klopp and to all his people in the analyst room about who they should pick. But I know that during this lockdown, they'll be identifying who they want to bring in to strengthen the whole squad and not just the team.
There's a lot of questions here about the number 7s as well tonight. Sven Erik Klemetsen is asking, who is the best number 7 to have ever played in the red shirt? I suppose he is asking. The best. Well,
I think it's a rhetorical question. I think everybody knows it's an unbelievable number. It's an iconic number because all the ones we've used in the past or wore in the past have been iconic features of Liverpool. Look at the one who's got it now. Right? Jamie Miller, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? Yeah. Right? Yes. And I think, to be honest with you, you don't take that number on lightly, and he certainly hasn't. He's done a fantastic job. But I think, to be honest with you, I repeat, it's a rhetorical question. I think it'd be difficult to pick out anything because whoever's been in that shirt, more often than not, has ended up being an iconic figure in Liverpool's history. And I think, as I said to you, the guy who's got it now, he'll end up being up there as well. Him and Endo will end up being there in the icons of Liverpool Football Club, in my opinion.
Well, a lot of us have this discussion. If you take Milner out of it, was it Keegan or was it Dalglish? And Martin Orton is saying Kenny Dalglish was the best number 7.
Is that a question or is it an answer?
We're just trying to fish out what you think of Kenny.
Yeah.
Who is, by the way, this gorgeous picture is one of the raffle prizes today.
Well, as I said before, whoever wears that shirt, they've got on to be iconic figures at Liverpool Football Club, and for a good reason as well. You know, Kevin Keegan, what a fantastic servant he was for the football club. You know, he's fantastic on the field, what he did. Kenny Dalglish, everyone knows King Kenny. You don't name a stand after you if you don't think you've done a fantastic job at the football club. He's an ambassador for the football club now. You know, so you don't need me to extol the virtues of Kenny Dalglish. What I always say to you is that, you know, as I said before, the shirt is iconic, the number is iconic. Whoever's in it, I have to say to you, it's big boots to fill. And I'll go back to what I said before. I honestly think the guy who's in it now is doing a very, very good job of filling them boots. He really is.
I also have to tell you that there's so much lovely feedback for you here. Sammy Lee is a red top man, you never walk alone. Great work from South Africa, from Abel in South Africa, loving these sessions. And then from Vanda Ferguson, he's great. We're really enjoying listening to Sammy. And there's just on and on, it goes on and on about everyone loving to listen to you. So we can't, you know, thank you enough for sparing your time to help support Hotel Tia and the food bank. We are coming close to the end of this session, but we have a couple of questions left that we want to squeeze in before we do the raffle at the end. And we're definitely going up into the air eventually as well, into a certain overhead locker.
Ragni, I'm in no rush. We're in lockdown, so I'm in no rush.
Fantastic, I love it. One of the first opening questions tonight, and thank you guys so much for sending in all these questions. There is one here who's just summing up your whole career here, from David Wilkinson. Hi, David. I love how you watch every time and send us questions. It's fantastic to have you on the stream. He's asking, what was your biggest highlight of your LFC time? And thank you for all you have done for us, David says.
Well, firstly, thank you, David. Really appreciate that. And also, Ragni, I have to say to you, this has been a pleasure for me. It really has, honestly. And also, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to put my position forward on the elephant in the room, you know, because there's a lot of people have put their views out, but thank you for that. But it's been an absolute pleasure for me. And to answer David's question, I'm going to repeat myself. It was my debut. It was my debut because, you know, as I said before, without the debut, without it going so well, without all the build-up, without all the great preparation that them coaches gave me and put me in the best position to debut me, because I think as any young boy, you think you should have been in earlier, you wanted to be in earlier, but they knew exactly when the time was right. And I have to say to you, I've got nothing but the greatest thanks for the people who, when I was giving me time, it was the right time. And if that hadn't been the right time, I wouldn't have had my second, my third game. We wouldn't have gone on to have what we were talking about before. We certainly wouldn't have been having this conversation. So for me, the most important game for me was my debut.
We also have a question from the Middle East. Hello there. Do you think Liverpool next season will be at the same level? Will we maintain the superior position?
No, it'll be higher.
I like that.
To be higher.
Yeah.
Right, to be higher, yeah, because at the end of the day, this guy in charge, he doesn't rest on his laurels. He knows there's a target on his back. He knows there's a target on the club's back now when they win the league. So no, and that's what I was saying to you before. They're working tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure that next year they are better. And I guarantee you, Liverpool, I guarantee you, Liverpool will be better next year. Now, that may sound like a contradiction when I said before, this is the best team, but every good team, the best team, always got to improve, and this team will improve. And it doesn't just mean about bringing other people in. The people come in will only come in, and they will push the people who are already in position. So that's this team and this club will improve. I've got no doubt about that. And Rodney, I'll give you one thing. If they don't, you can bring me on again. And you can pull me up on the fact that I guarantee that Liverpool will be better, and he certainly won't be resting on the laurels. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, because you were in a side where you were winning, and winning generated more winning, didn't it? It just gives you that boost and confidence to just go on and win more. Winner creates winners.
Well, it does, yeah, but also, I mean, it doesn't just happen like that. It happens by the people in the decision-making process, making the right decisions. And I have to say to you, Liverpool, I look at last year, they made the signings earlier than anybody else. Everybody, there's all kinds of talk in the paper about what this club's going to do. Liverpool just went on and made the decisions. And when the time is right, and again, I go back to the fact that it's very awful time that we're all going through now, where we shouldn't be talking, and the priority shouldn't be about transfers. It should be about saving people's lives and keeping people's lives. But I know full well that the job is having to go on in the background, and these people in these positions will be making sure that when it gets up and running again, that Liverpool will hit the ground running. And no more so than the main man in charge, which is, as I said to you, is Jürgen alongside Peter Moore, who together are forging a fantastic partnership to take this club forward, and not just for now. They don't plateau off. This will be going on for some time yet, with a bit of luck and a lot of support from all the people who were there watching this tonight and beyond.
I love your answer. Talking about success, there's one question here from Stephen S. Forrest. What was it like watching the UEFA Cup final of 2001 from the bench, and also being part of the team that led LFC back to winning more trophies?
Well, as always, when you're on the bench, there's only a certain amount of things you can do, because once they cross the line, it's down to the players. But I have to say to you, on that night again, surreal. And it's quite strange, because it ranks alongside some of the best days as a player, because as a coach, when you're a player, all you have to worry about is yourself. But when you're a coach, you have to worry about a number of players, units, and whatever. And I have to say to you, to get that success on that night, it was one of the, again, it ranked alongside one of my proudest nights of my life, and again, to be part of that squad of people, the team behind the team, as Gerard used to always call us. I thought it was a terrific night, and I thought a very, very proud night for me as a coach.
What was your heart rate like with that Stevie goal?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know, to be honest. You really don't want to know, because at the end of the day, I think Sam Allardyce did the thing many years ago where he put a ring on it for him. And I think if you put it on any manager, coach, assistant coach, physio, whoever's involved in the team on the sidelines, your heart rate must be going through the roof. Yeah, and for the right reasons as well, because you're passionate, you want to do well, you want to win, you want to do well for the thousands, the thousands of supporters who spent all their hard earned money to go and support you. You want to do well, you know. And yeah, my heart rate. Diane, my wife, thinks I haven't got a heart, but I can tell you now that whichever little bit I had was going through the roof. It really was.
Fantastic. Bear with us. We're just now going to find out who were the lucky winners from the show with Phil Thompson last Saturday, when we had donations, incredible amount of donations coming in. And as I said before, I have to thank you again. You know, it's just so touching to see all the support out there. And for every one of you who is not winning tonight, just bear in mind that it's all going to a good cause, saving Hotel Tia, but also helping the food bank. So let's start with the top prize, which is, it's so sad, this is the only signed Kenny Dalglish item I had in the house. It's now going, but it's going for a good cause. And the lucky winner is, so no looking. And the winner is, dum, dum, dum. Oh, it's a lady from Norway called Karina Bolstad. That's amazing. She bought a lot of raffle tickets. Karina, congratulations. The Kenny Dalglish shirt is yours. That's amazing. Fantastic. I'll leave that with there. And then we have this picture of Phil Thompson, donated kindly by Rob O'Brien from Liverpool Private Signings on Facebook. And the winner is, maybe you can do like the drum solo here. So the winner is, wow, this is the ladies' night. And this lady I know has bought tons of raffle tickets every single time we have a live stream. So I'm really made up for her. The Phil Thompson picture goes to Gry Solvang Jensen. How
Fantastic.
amazing. Oh, yes. So let's see if the lads can run off with an edition of their choice. This is my latest Liverpool book that I've written, by the way, Sammy. I've interviewed all the major captains from Ron Yates up to including Stevie G. So I've got it in English and in Norwegian, and they're obviously signed. And the winner is, if I pull out a girl again now, I think this draw is fixed. I'll dig deep down here now and see what I can fish up. Ooh.
Ooh.
This has taken me all day, by the way, but it's been a work of pleasure. And the winner of my book goes to Norway as well, but it is a lad this time, Torstein Kilan. Torstein Kilan. I'll be getting in touch with you so you can choose if you want a Norwegian or an English edition.
Congratulations.
Very good. And today's prizes, if you didn't win, you get a new chance now. So if you like the show with Sammy, and if you want to donate a ticket fee of your choice, £1 is also something. But if you do donate 10 or more, every £10 gives you raffle tickets with your name on. And the main prize that we will raffle out next Saturday at 7 p.m. on our next live stream show with the Liverpool legend is a signed retro shirt with John Barnes. What a player he was, hey, Sammy.
Unbelievable. They get fantastic. And by the way, what a fantastic person as well. Again, a great ambassador for Liverpool football. Who really is superb guy.
He's one of my favorites as well. He's also been on the stream and helped us out, which was incredible of him to do. Second prize, as we've mentioned before today, it's big too. It's a beautiful picture signed by Kenny Dalglish, also donated by Rob O'Brien. And that's second prize. And the third prize is some of our cool Hotel Tia merch. So maybe this one, or maybe you want to have this one. Well, we'll give you a few options. The one who wins gets to choose size and print and stuff. So if you want to be in the draw, then please donate to paypal.me/HotelTia or Vips. If you have got Vips, the number is 600-312, and then every raffle ticket is costing you 100 kroner. I also have to say a big thank you to the Norwegian Supporters Club, which is turning 40 years this year. It's just amazing. Did you know that 1% of all Norway's population is actually an official member of the Supporters Club? This is true, 1%.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And then you can time that with probably 10 or 20 in terms of how many people are actually Reds in Norway. This is just a member. So obviously they would love more members. So if you're not a member already and you are a Norwegian, you have to go to liverpool.no, the website, and sign up. It's only like a couple of 100 kroner. And for that, you get 8 magazines a year. You get all the behind the wall stories of brilliant journalism about the Reds, and obviously access to Anfield and discounted merch as well. And they just fundraised, Sammy, the Norwegian Supporters Club, over 21 grand to the LFC emergency food bank appeal. Just
fantastic.
Over the
Fantastic.
They're such a great supporters club, and we do stuff with them. They are our official partner at HotelTia. And if you are representing one of the other supporter branches, get in touch if you want HotelTia to team up with you and help you with legend events and membership events, etc. when you are in Liverpool with your supporters club. Now, my final question actually I have 2 questions. First, you're not getting away with it. Tell us about when you were stuck in a very strange place in an airplane. I love that story.
No, I know. To be honest, yeah, it was one of them where I think there must have been something going on regarding the fact that whether I could fit in there to begin with, and then I haven't been able to squeeze me in, would you be able to get me out? So I think it was just on one of our trips, and well, no, it was one of our trips. But the boys just decided, well, listen, we'll get him in. If he doesn't come out, it doesn't make no difference anyway. But that was the type of thing that, you know, it was the type of, banter's the wrong word. We can't use the word banter anymore because it has a bad connotation. But it was certainly one of the things we used to get up to back in the day, which certainly helped to forge the bond that we as a squad of 20, 18, 20, 24 players needed to be able to go and manifest itself on winning games out on the football pitch, which was no easy task. But you know, again, it was engendered by the people in charge. So listen, to do it right, make sure that you have a good camaraderie. And I felt that whatever we did in them days helped us on the football pitch, and it certainly added to the sense of unity, which, unless you have that, I don't think you win many games or many trophies. And I firmly believe that we were symptomatic of how to do things in them days by being a strong squad, strong unit, and a great camaraderie. And I think it manifested itself in the results on the pitch.
My final question to you tonight, there are so many more. I'm sorry we didn't get through them all. But my final question to you, Sammy, it's been an absolute pleasure listening to you, and we could have spent another hour and a half easily. But my last question to you is, what does Liverpool Football Club mean to you, and how has that club shaped you as a person?
Well, first and foremost, I think the pleasure's been all mine, by the way. It really has. And as I've said on a couple of occasions here tonight, I think football is massive to me. It's my life, my passion. But the biggest thing is that everybody stays safe and stays healthy. These are very, very strange times that we're all living through. But we'll get through it. We'll get through it. And certainly the football will help. But for me, I have to say to you, all my strengths and all my weaknesses have been forged by being part of the Liverpool Football Club. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've also had a lot of success. And whatever success I've had, whatever mistakes I've made, and my ability to make their mistakes right and to recover from their mistakes, and has been forced completely by being involved with the Liverpool Football Club. I've had a fantastic support mechanism with both my family and my friends. And as I say to you, my involvement in the Liverpool Football Club has been massive, it's been huge in my adult life. And so, to be honest, yeah, for me, I've got nothing but thanks to give to the Liverpool Football Club. And again, I repeat, please, everybody, stay at home, stay safe, and stay healthy, and stay sane, because we'll get through it. And then when we do, we'll all be able to come back and support Liverpool again and see them in the league again, and then again and again and again. Stay safe.
There's just one thing to say then, and that's to sum it up from Susie McDonald. She says, once a red, always a red. Cheers, Sammy. We love you, lads.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, thank you, Ragnar. As I said, the pleasure's been all mine. It really has. I want to say thank you to everybody out there. Please keep supporting, keep the faith, stay safe. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Ragnar. Thank you very much indeed.
And with that, I just want to say thank you all so much for being with us tonight. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your donations. And we'll be back next Saturday and hopefully cheer you up again in these difficult and testing times in a weekend where we should have finished the league as champions. Until then, please stay safe and look after yourselves and take care. Lots of love from Sammy Lee and me, Ragnhild Lundansnes.
Thank you.
Take care and all the best.
Thank you.